6 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The Prime Minister has stressed for joint efforts to ensure export-led growth to put the country on the path of progress and development. The Deputy Prime Minister says the government's active diplomacy has dispelled the perception of Pakistan's isolation at the international stage. The Foreign Office has expressed concern over the Indian extraterritorial killings inside Pakistan. The All Parties Hurriyat Conference has renewed the pledge to continue struggle for Kashmiri people's inalienable right to self-determination. 52 more Palestinians were martyred in the unabated Israeli strikes on Gaza today. The second cricket test of the two-match series between Pakistan and South Africa will begin in Cape Town from tomorrow. And now the news in detail. The Prime Minister Mohammad Shahbaz Sharif has stressed for joint efforts to ensure export-led growth to put the country on the path of development and progress and prosperity. Chairing the 11th meeting of the Special Investment Facilitation Council in Islamabad today, he said economic and political stability are interlinked for export-led growth. The Prime Minister further said the government is working on a substantial decrease in the prices of electricity to achieve this objective. He said enforcement of laws is vital to enhance revenue collection and prevent massive leakages in the taxation system. Shahbaz Sharif said economic development is not possible without ensuring peace and security. He said unfortunately terrorism is surging again in the country and joint efforts of the federal and the provincial governments are needed to eliminate the scourge of terrorism. He commended the sacrifices of the armed forces and other law enforcement agencies in fighting the menace of terrorism. Highlighting the government's efforts to attain macroeconomic stability, the Prime Minister said inflation reduced to 4.1% after 2018, while remittances grew by 34% in the last 5 months. He said exports are on the rise and foreign exchange reserves surged to $12.5 billion from $4 billion. Similarly, the Pakistan Stock Exchange is witnessing the most bullish trend in its history. Shahbaz Sharif said rice exports reached $4 billion, while around $500 million are expected from sugar exports. He said the export of sugar became possible due to the crackdown on smuggling to Afghanistan and the surplus sugar was exported. The Prime Minister also congratulated all the people who played their role in forging peace agreement in Parachanar. Earlier, Shahbaz Sharif welcomed the participants and extended his best wishes on the occasion of the New Year. Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif has commended the Pakistan Navy for its successful anti-narcotics operation in the North Arabian Sea. In a statement, he said Pakistan naval ship Muawwin seized a drug haul worth $1 million, describing it as a significant milestone in anti-narcotics campaign. The Prime Minister acknowledged the Pakistan Navy's central role in maritime defense and prevention of drug smuggling on sea routes. He said the nation is proud of the personnel of the Pakistan Navy. The Deputy Prime Minister Mohammad Asagdar has said the perception of Pakistan's isolation on the international stage has been dispelled by the current government through active diplomacy at both bilateral and multilateral levels. Speaking to the media in Islamabad today, he stated that nobody can now say that Pakistan is isolated. He attributed this to the country's consistent and successful approach in expanding its diplomatic footprint. Alluding to the election of Pakistan as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council for the 8th time, the Deputy Prime Minister said Pakistan has assumed the seat and will fully play its role with the collaboration of other member states. Pakistan's ambassador to the United States, Rizwan Saeed Sheikh, called on the Finance Minister Mohammad Aurangzeb in Islamabad today and discussed strengthening Pakistan-US bilateral relationship particularly in areas of trade, investment, and economy. During the meeting, the importance of Pakistan-US partnership and the acknowledgement of the United States as Pakistan's largest export destination and trading partner was reiterated. It was decided to further enhance economic diplomacy and explore new opportunities for joint business ventures and economic collaborations between the two countries. The third meeting of the Revenue Mobilization Investment and Trade Programme Steering Committee was held in Islamabad today with the Finance Minister Mohammad Aurangzeb in the chair. The committee discussed the progress made by stakeholders across various sectors, focusing on strengthening macroeconomic stability and creating conditions conducive to high and sustained inclusive growth. Areas reviewed included revenue mobilization, trade, investment climate, and macroeconomic governance, with a particular emphasis on addressing climate change challenges. The finance minister called for a more proactive and coordinated approach among implementing partners. He urged the effective use of management and monitoring tools to ensure successful completion of the program's objectives. This is Radio Pakistan. The Foreign Office has expressed concern over the Indian extraterritorial and extrajudicial killings inside Pakistan. At the weekly news briefing in Islamabad today, the Foreign Office spokesperson Mumtaz Zahra Baloch said this is not just limited to Pakistan. India's network of extraterritorial killings and abductions has now gone global, and other countries are also concerned about India's extraterritorial activities. The spokesperson said Pakistan desires friendly relations with all its neighbours, including Afghanistan. She said Pakistan has a robust mechanism of dialogue with Afghanistan and would like to continue the dialogue with the neighbouring countries on all aspects of bilateral relations, including issues related to security and border management. Responding to a question, the spokesperson said the Gwadar port, developed with the support of China, is for the development of Pakistan. She categorically stated that Pakistan has no designs whatsoever to offer military bases to any foreign government or entity. In the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the All Parties Hurriyat Conference has called for observing Right to Self-Determination Day on Sunday. In a statement, the All Parties Hurriyat Conference renewed its pledge to continue the struggle for Kashmiri people's inalienable right to self-determination as enshrined in the United Nations resolutions. The All Parties Hurriyat Conference spokesman appealed to the international community, particularly the United Nations, to honour its commitment to hold a plebiscite in Jammu and Kashmir. January 5th holds significance since 1949, when the United Nations Security Council passed a resolution supporting the Kashmiris' inalienable right to decide their future by themselves. The day will be marked with rallies, seminars, and conferences globally to remind the United Nations of its responsibility to implement its resolutions, resolve the Kashmir dispute, and alleviate the suffering of Kashmiris under the Indian oppression for over 7 decades. 52 more Palestinians were martyred in the unabated Israeli strikes on Gaza today. Over 45,600 Palestinians have been martyred in the Israeli military aggression in Gaza since October last year. Cricket. The second test of the two-match series between Pakistan and South Africa will begin in Cape Town from tomorrow. The match will start at 1:30 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. South Africa lead the series 1-0. And finally, the weather report. Rain and snow over the mountains is expected in North Balochistan, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Islamabad, Upper Punjab, Gilgit-Baltistan and Kashmir during the next 12 hours. However, moderate to dense fog is likely to persist in most plain areas of the Punjab and Upper Sindh. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.